drawings of Jesus. Billions of drawings of Jesus. Or billions of renditions and appropriations of the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that every single one of them didn't exist before that. Are you telling me that this, like, I have a painting of a demon, like a little devil with horns?
Yeah.
That, there's probably a million anthropomorphic demons with goat ears and horns.
Yeah.
That probably exists in a billion places. But has that image literally existed in its complete entirety? 1000%? Like, is there a complete fucking exact copy of that?
No.
Somewhere that I don't know about?
And I think it also
that I've
raises
never
the
seen.
question...
There isn't.
Yeah. I think it also raises the question of what is the value of originality also, because if you are making work that, even if you're, like, for me, I do a lot of paintings of, like, I don't know why I always do this, but I always come back to doing portraits of women.
Yeah.
Like, that's just what I do. I tend to paint people that look like me. I do a lot of self-portraits. And that is not new. That's not something nobody's done before. But I think the thing that makes it interesting, I hope, is that using that imagery and using the mood of the painting to evoke a response in the viewer, whatever that is, or to articulate what I'm feeling when I'm doing it. Depends on the piece, I guess. But I don't think originality is what is special about it. I think it's you doing it in your way, in a way that maybe is a little bit original, but even if you're stitching together things that have already existed, it's a unique lens, which I think is, I don't know if this makes sense, but I feel like that carries over to the skateboarding thing too. And performance art in general, I guess. Right,
where a kickflip exists a billion times over, but there are people that do it in such a way or over something specific.
Yeah.
Or
even just the fact that, like, you did that.
Yeah.
Like, there's a million paintings of a demon right there, but not like your style.
And that's kind of interesting too, because in the skill level, like, or window of skill, it also kind of relates kind of to athletics again.
Yes.
Because athleticism isn't about grace necessarily in all sports or looking cool, but a lot of it's about competence level.
Yeah.
Are like in hockey, we were talking about this, there's something a lot of people say called hockey IQ, which is the intelligence of your intelligence in the game.
Interesting.
In how you are doing it and how you are playing it and how you were thinking about it.
Oh, that's cool. You said that term to me yesterday and I don't think I understood that's what you meant.
Yeah, that's literally what it means, like, where it's just like, anyway, but like, and it's kind of fuck, I lost my train of thought.
You were talking about like technical skill and stuff?
Right, where it's kind of like, no, I lost it. Nope.
That's okay. To jump off of that, though, maybe this is what you're going to say.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because it relates to painting in that sense. Like, I think skateboarding and painting, comparing them it's such an out-of-the-box way of thinking about it for me personally. Maybe because I'm, like, very new at skating, so maybe I just hadn't thought about it that way. But I think they're both things that have a lot of, it's kind of like glitz and glam about being an artist or being a skater. Like, it's very trendy and cool to be able to do. Which is, I'm not even talking down on that. Like, I definitely cash in on that.
Yeah.
But it's also a lot of diligence, and it's not about getting it perfect the first time.
Yeah.
It's about pushing through, fucking up, and pushing through either falling down and eating shit, or making a painting that's ugly and terrible and nobody wants it. Like, getting made fun of, doing things, publicly embarrassing yourself, until you eventually smooth out the bumps and you start getting in your own groove.
Right. Because there are also millions of people who are passionate about a sport, or get really, really fucking good at a sport, even though they know that they'll never get paid for it, or they'll never have a career for it, or maybe they'll never play that sport again after they graduate high school, or college, but they still get dope at it because it is rewarding to climb the ladder of competence at just something that's fucking sick to do. Like, how many fucking high school football players do you know that are still playing? Like, somewhere in a field with a group of dudes. Like, maybe like a pickup game, sure, but like, they're not like grinding.
Yeah, they're not NFL.
Right. Like, there aren't people that aren't, like, I don't know. I'm sure, like, I don't know. We're like in Massachusetts, which is like the epitome, is like the absolute opposite of a college football state.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, in like Virginia or southern states, there are like football players that probably they're like just as passionate as like a, I don't know, like some asshole in a Warped Tour hardcore band. about football.
I think it's also fair to say we probably just happen to not know a lot of high school football players.
That's true. I knew a lot of hockey players, but that's also...
You played hockey.
That's also a Massachusetts thing, too, where, like, we're, like, a big hockey state. Like, we... I've said this a lot because of traveling, but we relate more, I think, culturally and socially to Canada than we do to the rest of America.
Interesting.
Like, with our interests, maybe the food we eat, our history, whaling, lobster, fucking, I don't know, like... hockey, shit. Like, we're way more culturally Canadian.
Eastern Mass specifically.
Yeah, than we are, than we relate to New Orleans. Or to New Mexico, or even to Virginia.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
It's so funny how the different parts of Mass, too, like, even in a micro sense, along this part of the East Coast, like, Boston versus Plymouth versus the Cape, their beach identity is so different.
Check this out, though. I guarantee you, I would put money on this. If you went to Prince Edward Island, Canada, in fucking July, and went to a beach there, I guarantee you they'd be selling fucking paintings of lighthouses and shark tooth necklaces.
Yeah.
And 100%.
Be like being a Hyannis.
It would be like being in P-Town.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it for a second. I'm sure they'd have a bunch of, like, Anne of Green Gables merch and, like, bullshit, but, like... It'd probably be uniquely Canadian, but it would be very much Eastern Beach Town.
Yeah.
Northeast Beach Town.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
I've never been there. I've also never been to P-Town, which is pretty...
Oh, yeah. Well, P-Town's just the party version of the rest of the Cape. Like, it's exactly what you think it is.
Yeah.
It's just more bars and restaurants. But also, one thing that is unique about it is there's a gallery every 10 feet.
And it's queer art, for the most part.
It's mostly queer art. I actually say, I said this is kind of a facetious way of putting it, but it's not queer art, it's gay art. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's... it's like middle-aged white gay guy art.
Interesting.
Made by, not just by them, but for them, 100%. Like, you walk down the street, and it's really interesting, actually. I thought about this a lot last time I was there. Where it's like, every time you see a portrait of a woman in a museum or a gallery, maybe not by a very, very contemporary artist, but a lot of the times it's very soft. You could see her whole neck.
Yeah.
And, like, she's, like, looking at you from the side. Like, it's very gentle, beautiful portraits of women. That's very common, right, to draw women. And you see portraits of men, and their, like, shoulders are straight, and they're looking into the soul of the viewer and holding a gun. Or something. You know what I mean? It's
crossing the Delaware.
Yeah, these like tough, like Washington rustic American paintings. Yeah. Like that's a very common way to draw men. Mm-hmm. But in P-Town, there are drawings of men with beards, like looking delicate, like a portrait of a woman.
That's amazing.
Because
that's
awesome. in a lot of queer art, especially there, it's like, a lot of times a man in a painting is a sex object.
Yeah.
To a gay guy.
Yeah.
In queer art, while with like a lot of art made in heterosexual circles or in normal realms or by men, they're painting women as sex objects. Even if they're not even meaning to, they're painting a beautiful fucking woman, nude, like really thin neck and shoulders, like who is she? Like Ophelia on the fucking river.
I was gonna say that. Even if it's not in a sexual lens, they're usually portrayed as like sort of
angelic. And soft and breakable.
It's like the mother maiden crone kind of thing.
Yeah.
Either angelic, wise, like caring, like
motherly, maternal.
Yeah. Virgin Mary or Mary Magdalene.
Yeah, imagine seeing paintings with that mood and message, but they're like a white guy, a gay guy with like the hardcore boy haircut and a manicured beard and a six-pack, but they're like
that's nice.
With like leaves around them.
Yeah.
Like that's how it was just super weird to me.
Yeah.
Where like I don't know.
It's not even weird because that art exists. It's weird because it highlights the lack of it. I feel.
Yeah, because I've been to museums in like a number of different parts of the country, and I've seen a lot of art just in New England, but. It was just, but still, regardless, even in DIY. Well, here's the thing too. I've seen a million queer artists and art pieces in DIY settings.
I was gonna say that.
But hot take, there isn't that much realism in DIY spaces. a lot of the time at basement shows or art and like guerrilla gallery shit, it's ink, it's abstract, it's messy, it's expressive. It's never like a delicate oil painting hanging in a basement gallery.
I think there's a lot to unpack with that statement, though.
That is an there is a lot.
Because I think there's a lot that plays into that. I was going to say, to back up a little bit, I think one of the reasons why you maybe see less representation of men or masked figures in a sort of gentle light is because if you're looking at them in the museum world is already a curated lens.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the best representation.
It's not like a naturally occurring discovery of art in
yes.
the museum.
Versus a place like P-Town. P-Town happens to be a place where there are probably a lot of galleries that are owned by or very welcoming to gay people, because P-Town is a very gay-friendly space.
Should we clarify? Yeah, P-Town is literally known as like the San Francisco of the East Coast.
Yeah.
It's the gayest town in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Okay, continue. Just for anybody that literally just happened to not know.
Yeah, that's a very important part of this dialogue.
Yes.
Versus a DIY space is probably more of a random sample of what's going on in the scene, but it also is a random sample that is self-selected by probably an existing group of artists or friend group or people that know people, because to get an invitation to show your work at a place like that, unless it's just an open call for art at a center or something, which is dope, usually it's because you got a DM or someone tagged you in or you saw it on your feed and you're already connected to these people in some way. So I think that might be part of it. Another thing too is I think a lot of art, contemporary art, is less representational. Like, I think there just are less people our age working in oil painting, like realistic oil paintings of subjects. That's true.
Because even if there are oil painters all over the place, it's still, by technicality, is like an archaic medium. It's not like anachronistic. It's not like gone and dated and dead, but it is old as fuck.
It's not dead, but I think it's also less accessible than it used to be, maybe. Or maybe that's a weird statement, but...
Well, you know what is true about that? Is that the oil paints, you can buy them in any store around.
But using them.
But the techniques, there are oil techniques that nobody will know again.
That's true.
There are oil techniques that are lost to history like a dead language.
Well, I don't even mean it like that. Just like in one of my apartments I've had recently, I did oil paint in there. I wasn't supposed to, but I had a gas stove and it was a studio apartment.
Wow.
Or you don't have proper ventilation, or your roommates like paint thinner. Like, it's not as accessible as acrylic or watercolor. Especially
here, where there's only literally like less than half of the year where you can safely enjoy the outdoors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's like 3 months of the year.
Not much like en plein air, if that's, I don't know if that's how you say that, but like.
I need to learn how to say that because I go to make that joke all the time and I never know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, I don't really know fully how to say it.
Maybe that's something I would have learned in my last 3 months of art school.
What time are we at? We're at 1:13.
Yeah,
let's just finish this out for like a few more minutes because I kind of got to pee. I was going to say we could pause it maybe and start up again later, or I don't know. What do you think? This has been a good talk. This has been a good one.
This has been a good one. Yeah, maybe we could just do this one for an hour and a half, like the last one, and then maybe we'll record another one today.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
You're right.
For those who haven't noticed yet, our recording schedule, we're releasing these once a week, but we're recording them whenever the fuck we want.
Yeah, so that's another thing. Yeah, so So
if they're not super timely, or we're talking about something that maybe happened a couple weeks ago, that would be why.
That's true. Yeah, I'm sure we'll eventually start to cover current events, as long as they don't make us, like, horribly sad.
Yeah.
We have this, like, kind of dynamic in our conversations where one of us or both of us will start talking about, like, the weekly national tragedy that plagues...
the daily national tragedy?
Yeah, like, just whatever fucking horrible thing is on the news.
Yeah, like, you guys heard there was a coup a couple days ago?
Yeah.
That was pretty fucked up.
Right, or like, oh, a new strain, great, like... But we stop we're like, get a few minutes into like some doom conversation and then we're like, oh wait, shit.
We've invented a new term. Maybe we didn't invent it.
Oh, vibe kill?
Yeah. That's our safe word for political conversation.
Right, where we're like, oh dude, like you're fucking this up. Like,
sometimes,
you're making me fucking want to jump out a fucking window.
Trigger warning. Sometimes it's nice to dig deep into that shit, and sometimes it's good to channel your energies towards making things right and making things good. Like going to protests, doing mutual aid work, like volunteering somewhere. That shit's awesome. I'm all for that. But sometimes you also have to take a chill pill or else you'll go insane.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta shut the fuck up.
Oh.
And just fucking chill.
Just gotta zone out, watch Netflix.
Eat a fruit roll up.
I'm doing that right now.
How do you like that fruit roll up?
It's really good.
Let's make